Welcome to Ouch. Was that a ghost? This podcast may contain graphic material, which some listeners may find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Help me.
Now that we covered that, here's your host, Liz.
Welcome back to Ouch, Was That a Ghost? With Liz.
And Mike for a Torture Tuesday. Tuesday. Bringing it back from the old school, because we're so cool. Yeah, Tuesday. Did you miss that opening?
I did miss it.
I know, we haven't done one in forever. I mean, there's only so much torture you can talk about, but we're going to take it into new horizons, I suppose.
You can talk about it on Tuesdays.
We talk about anything on Tuesdays, but mostly torture, though.
True.
It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can have Tuesdays, thirsty Tuesdays, Tuesdays with tea.
Yep. Tuesdays with tea.
That sounds weird.
Taco Tuesday.
Terrible Tuesdays. Timothy Tuesdays.
Toe tapping Tuesday.
There's always a toe tapping Tuesdays. That's the best one. We'll end it on that. I'm not so much talking about torture as much as I'm talking about a torturer on today, and probably one of the most famous torturers of all time. And he had a certain type of torture that he loved. We're talking about Vlad the Third Dracula.
Vlad the Impaler? Yes.
I'm sure you've heard of him, as we all have in our history, but just a little breakdown on Vlad the Impaler. He was a 15th century ruler of Wallachia, something like that, which is New Romania now. He became famous for his rampant use of torture, mutilation, and mass murder.
On Tuesdays.
It was all Tuesdays. He basically murdered everyone on Tuesdays. And the best thing about him was the rest of the week he took off. It was awesome.
Like a Santa Claus
situation. So what do you know about Vlad the Impaler? Have you researched him or anything? Or did you?
No, I didn't know, just the minimal.
Yeah, the minimal, the basics. Well, we were doing a brief little rundown of him because it's a Torture Tuesday. We're not going to drag this out for an hour, but all his exploits and tortures and everything, you could probably do a whole book on, which I'm sure there has been whole books done on it. But the basic of it is what I'm running. He was, sorry, I'm just trying to get this together. I feel where I was. His military exploits had him praised as a hero, but his unmatched cruelty solidified his reputation as one of historians' most cold-blooded killers. Vlad the Impaler. Just a name alone. I mean, come on. Does it get better than that for a leader and a ruler to strike fear into someone?
No, Vlad, with that name, it sounds like you have a mustache that parts and like a fist comes out of it.
Mm-hmm. Like Chuck Norris, yes.
Yeah.
100%. What does Chuck Norris have under his beard? A fist. So good. All right, his means of tortures. Can you guess them? Well, we know one, but obviously dismemberment.
Guessing he impales people?
He does impale people. But dismemberment was used all the time, which is removing organs after cutting open the abdomen.
That is horrific.
It's fun, just taking the guts out, and they'd put them on top of people and just let them rot there. And he was a big fan of letting them just suffer and die slowly, 100%, which is the crazy part about it. Beheading, that wasn't so much of a torturous thing as just killing people. So he also skinned or boiled alive. He liked to do that to people. That was one of the favorite ones. But impalement.
Then he's suffering just as much, smelling.
Oh, he loved that shit. The little brief thing that I'm giving you here, you're going to see that he loved it. He loved every bit about the gruesome death and everything. But the impalement was his favorite. And if you don't know what impalement is, It's when you take a wooden stake, and what he would do, he'd take a wooden stake and he'd slowly push it through their body. He wouldn't like jab it through. He'd slowly impale people and then stick it into the ground and let them sit there and rot and die and be exposed to nature and just die that way.
So you're sitting there bleeding out, and then you have like insects and animals coming over and just like feeding on you and like maggot.
Oh yeah, you're already in pain. You can't move. You're dying. You're hungry. You're thirsty, and you're being gnawed on by animals and stuff. And the sun burning you alive. Yeah, like he'd do a lot of them on the beaches and like leave them in the sun and stuff, and that's what he would do.
Oh, it's like that milk and honey one.
Oh, milk and honey, that was gross. So this will kind of explain about where his head was at back in the day. Was after a victory against the Ottoman Turks, he left around 20,000 men impaled on the banks of the Danube River.
20,000.
How insane is that? Just impaling 20,000. That was just one battle that he did. Impaled them, left them on the beach of the river, and just had them sitting out in the elements, just dying. Crazy.
He didn't do it alone, though. He had to have other people.
No,
he physically put the 20,000.
He ordered a lot of it, but
I was like, damn, you'd be tired after 20,000.
No, he loved it. He ordered it to be done, but he loved being hands-on too. He loved doing it to people. It wasn't like he just ordered it. He wanted to be there, and you'll see that by he enjoyed dining among the thousands of impaled bodies and even dipping his bread into their blood. This practice, along with his name Dracula, well, this is what it is. This is this practice, along with his name Dracula, and being from Transylvania, inspired the vampire in Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula. So basically, that character is based on Vlad the Impaler, Dracula.
I just can't believe he sat there and legit had a picnic in the middle, dipping in people.
And they wouldn't even be dead. They'd still be like torturing and dying, and he'd just take the bread and he'd dip it on their blood and eat it.
Like, dude, that is not an egg yolk. That is so gross.
He was not okay. He was not okay.
No.
There was so much more to the story. This is kind of the breakdown I wanted to give you, just a taste of the tip of what Dracula is after and Vlad the Impaler. So you're welcome for that one.
Thank you so much.
I mean, there was hundreds of thousands of dead and impaled bodies along the way. One would be beheaded and boiled and skinned, and he just did it for the pure pleasure of it. I mean, he stopped many fights or wars before they even broke out by just being who he was, and they knew he was coming. People would just surrender before he got there.
Imagine that back then, that word of you gets around the world like that. It's not like there's newspapers or text messages. Like, your tale is just make it around and people are that afraid of you.
Yeah. And like he's in debate for one of the most vicious, like, torturers to ever live. He really is. He's one of the top 5. There's a list of about 5.
Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan, obviously. He's up there.
Is Genghis Khan the highest?
It depends. A lot of people say that Vlad's the highest.
Really?
Some people say Genghis is the highest. Yeah. Other people, there's I forget the guy's name, some of the Nazi camps back then for the torture done to the Jews and stuff like that. He's up there for like some of the usage of torture on them. Like there's I'll have to look up the name. I'll get it back to you, but Mengele? I forget. There was, what's that?
Mengele?
It might be. Is that what it is? It probably is.
He's one of the doctors. Yeah.
Yeah, probably what it is. There's a group of them that like were just unmatched. It's not even body count. It's a way they did it. It's and the way they enjoyed it and loved it and like lived it, and that's a difference. I think you doing something and you killing and doing something is different than you wanting the human pain and enjoying that. That's a whole different animal. So, but what do I know?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. That was such a nice story. I appreciate
Torture
it.
Torture Tuesday, back again. We'll try to bring you some more. Maybe I'll tap into the other top 5 as we go. But
okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you need more content or just want to help support the podcast, head on over to patreon.com and search Ouch, was that a ghost? If you need some schnazzy merch, You can find it at crowdmade.com by searching Ouch, Was That a Ghost? If you have a story you'd like to share, you can email it to ouchwasthataghost@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and all the other social media platforms under Ouch, Was That a Ghost?
Help me.
All links can also be found on ouchwasthataghost.com.